Hey guys, welcome back to the series. Hope you guys are good. So we're here again with another episode of our Forex Automated Trading EA. So today we're going to create a Martingale EA bot based off of a random strategy. So if you are enjoying the series so far, hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next bit. Peace. All right, guys. So let's get started. So what's Martingale? So a martingale is basically a strategy where you double down on your losing bets, or you exit a couple of maybe one, two, or three times your losing bets. So just to make you win at the end of the day, basically. So here's an idea of how it works. So let's say we have a starting lot size of zero point 0.1 and we're trading on a 1-to-1 ratio and we have a multiplier of 3. So meaning if we lose, we want to multiply it 3 times, right? So let's say we took a trade, we won that, everything's fine. We're entering again with our starting lots. If we lose that, the next trade, we're going to triple our position size and enter with a bigger lot size. So if we win that, we're equivalently winning our loss and also making some profits. So if you check around here, so we lost the first one, lost the second one, lost the third one, and then won the fourth one. So at this point, we've lost about $900, but we're able to win 1,350, which is we gathered our loss back and still made some more profits. So this is the strategy we're going to be implementing. So let's get into it. All right, so I've created a new EA called it the Martingale strategy. So yeah, so let's remove some things we don't need and let's begin. So what are some things we need to do? So we need to have some inputs. So some inputs we could have could be the starting lot size, the TP pips, the SL pips, and the multiplier. Those 4 inputs are what we're going to start with. So let's do that. So let's call this take profit points. And I just copy this and paste and call this the stop loss points. All right. And the next thing we need is our multiplier. I think this is going to be an integer. All right. So another cool thing we could do is to add this to as a group. So if we call this, let's call this the bot settings. So this helps us to group like certain inputs together. So it looks a bit more tidy. So let's go to our MT5 and test. So now we can see you have your bot setting and its groups, and those inputs are grouped into that particular section. So it makes it look a bit more tidy. So yeah. All right, so for this as well, we're going to make use of our structures. So remember the structures from the last lesson. If you don't, please go and watch that video again. So let's just copy this, our structures only. All right, so one other thing I would like to do is to have a class or an include rather, where we could do our orders. So um, this this file will handle everything specific to orders, creating market orders, updating the orders, getting our orders, our positions, our and everything, so that we can reuse it in multiple videos. All right, cool. So let's also we need to import this. All right. So let's include the orders. And also we might need to use our structures here as well. All right, cool. So ensure everything compiles without errors. Good, good, good. All right, so what are we trying to do? So first of all, we need to ensure that we only open one trade. So we need a way to check that to know if we have positions open, and we can also get those positions to be able to alter it and stuff like that. So let's do a method that gets our all our positions in the markets. All right, so for this, I'm going to also be looking at a project I've done before just to replicate some stuffs. So yeah, so let's begin. So we'll need to have our position info and call this positions array. So this is going to be an array of all the positions we have. If we do have any positions opened, it's going to be inside this array. All right, so next thing we need to do is to create a function called get all positions. So this takes in a position info of a position info type, and this is going to reference the variable we just created, which is positions, the positions array. So good. So now what we need to do is so we need to get the total amount of positions we have. So we'll call that total. And for this, we could use the helper function position total. Positions total. Yeah. All right. So once we get this total, we then need to resize our array. So we'll give it the array we want to resize and the amount of positions that we want to use for that as well. All right. So once that's done, I'll create a new index just to keep track of how many positions we have. So for this, we can now do a for loop. So I equals to 0, I is less than total, I plus plus. So from here, we can now create a new variable with that position info. So we'll use the position info and just call this position. So now we can do position get ticket, and we'll pass in the index I, which is the first one there. So we can now also have an extra check to ensure that we're getting the positions for only this symbol. So if position gets string, position symbol equals to the symbol that we're trading, we can then do a positions array index equals to, so we'll create this function later, get position I, which is that index, and then we can do array index plus plus. And once we're done with this, we can now do array resize again just to ensure that everything works flawlessly. Array index. All right. So don't forget to format your code. So now, next thing we need to do is create this function, get position. So this function is going to return a position info type. So let's give it the name get position. So we could have the index we're trying to get and give it a default just in case of any errors along the line. Then we could also use a ulong in case the ID isn't present in some cases. So let's do some checks here. So if I is greater than equal to 0, we want to do position get tickets by the index I. Else we want to do position get select by ticket, the ticket ID. So there are some cases where your broker might not return it as an index, but return it as a ulog ticket. So that's why we're doing it this way, so that we don't run into any errors. So what do we need to do after that? So we need to create a new variable, position info position. Then we also need to get some variables. So let's use the history deal select and pass it the position ticket ID. So this takes in the property ID. So we can get that using the alpha function position ticket. So once we've done that, it's going to the empty MPL5 is going to load the tickets, the position, all the information about it, so we can access it in this space. So we could do a position.id is equal to the position get integer. So you have a lot of options here. So here we're looking for the position ticket as the what we're going to use as reference for our ID. And I'll put our, what else do we have? The symbol. So I want to also get it from the position itself. So that's a get string, position symbol. And we have the type, position. So you know what, let me just copy and paste all this so we don't have to waste too much time here. I'll explain everything once I'm done. All right, so I'm done copying over the stuff. So let me explain what we did. So we have digits. Digits represents the amount of digits from the decimal point for the price. So like for example, NZD could be 0.69045. So 69045 is the amount of digits, which is 5 digits. So this gives us that information. So we can use that to, format our prices properly. So in case we have our open price or, whatever type of price formula we're trying to do, and the price is like a long decimal place, we could use that to format it properly so that the MT5 is going to accept it when it's opening a position. All right, so like I said, we did history deal. We're getting the ID using the position get integer. I'm getting the symbol. I'm getting the type, whether it's a buy stop, buy limit, and whatnot. We're getting the open price, which we use the normalized double to give us the actual price representation of it and to format it in, X amount of decimal places. So we use the get double to get the price open. We use the get double to get the position current price. Then for the profits, we we do the get double to get the position profits. Then we add the commissions to it. Yeah. So the commissions usually are negative. So when you open a price, it's negative. So we subtract those commissions from the profit to get the actual profit. Then the comments, we can get the comments from the position get string. If there's swap fees, we also add that to it. So swap fees could be negative or positive. So that will give us the actual true profits. Then we also have the swap variable there, the commissions, the volume, the stop loss, the take profits. And if it's a buy or if it's a sell, we track that as well. Then we also have the created that, and we set exists to true. This helps us know that this position actually exists in case we need to do some checks on our end, and then we just return that position. So yeah, this get position will help us, clean our code and ensure we're writing very reusable code down the line. So yeah, so we can compile this, everything's good, and compile this, and everything's good as well. All right, great. So I'm also going to add some new variables. So we're going to use a new position. So when we open a position, we're going to use this variable to hold that position. So we could do some extra checks down the line. So I'll explain that as we move. All right, guys, so I've added some new functions. So just not to waste time, I don't want to start typing everything, I could just explain it. So what we did was to import ctrade, the trade class that we talked about in the last video. If you didn't watch that, please go and check it out. And then we added this new method, which is to open a market position. So this takes in the volume, the position type, your stop loss, your take profit, and any comments you have. And it just uses the class position open like we discussed before to open a position on the symbol and put all the necessary parameters. Then if we were able to successfully open that, we would return the position info structure that we created. If not, we'll just return an empty structure where you can now do checks to know if it exists or not. All right, so the way I like to do my EAs is to have a method I call initialize variables. So what this helps me do is to kind of prepare the EA with all the necessary information it needs, like getting the positions, getting the ask price, the bid price, the spread, just basically anything you could think of that could make your EA just function nicely and properly. So I have this method I call on every tick, just to ensure that I'm working with, recent data, and also on init, you could do that there too as well. All right, so what type of data would you like to do? So like, for example, we could want to get all positions and pass it the positions objects that we created in the orders. So this is why we have reusable logic. We could just reuse this and everything just works. So therefore, whenever we create a new market position and everything is done, we can also just call initialize here. Copy this, initialize variables. So this would pull in the positions we just opened and set all the necessary variables. All right. So yeah, let me run this. There's an error. Okay, it's supposed to return the position. All right. So sometimes your, includes could have errors because it's not referencing some things. Like this one had an error that says undeclared identifier. But because we're using it here, it's not going to mean anything. So it's still going to run fine. But it just means that any EA you create needs to have this method, which definitely, as you create your EAs, they will have that method. So yeah. All right. So now that's done. What I also like to do is to create a separate function where I actually do the coding. So we'll call that run. So let's create this. So now what we can do is to do some checks. So if array size positions equals to 0, meaning if we don't have any position open, therefore we want to, open a new position. So we can reuse our method that we created here and give this to that new position variable we added. So new position would be open market position. So the volume will be the inputs that we created, which is the lot size. So what position do we want to open? We could stick to a buy. So stick to a buy. So your stop loss, take profit will pass the inputs we created. So stop loss points and take profit points. And we don't have any comments. All right. So once we've done that, that's pretty much it for now. So let's run this and see if it works and see if we can create just one order. All right, so before that, we can also give these guys like default values. So lot size we could use 0.01, take profits we could use 500 here, stop loss 500 as well, multiplier would be 3. All right, cool. So if we put the defaults. All right, so let's run this and see if it works. So start. All right, so we're getting an error invalid stops. So this is because we're not converting the stop loss and take profit to actual prices, which is what we need to do. So let's go back to the code. So where can we do this? All right, so how are we going to fix this? So let's do this. We can, instead of putting the stop loss here and take profit, we'll update the price instead. So let's go to our orders. So we could leave this here in case we needed to pass it like that. But let's also look at updating orders. So I'm going to paste that code here. All right, so we have the update market position. So this is going to take in the position, and then it's going to take in a stop loss points and take profit points. So what we can then do is to let's convert the stop loss and take profit points to actual prices. So here we could use the position, the open price, and here position, the open price. So, but before that, we could do, yeah, so let's do it like that. So if it's a, so this is the case if it's a buy order, if buy order or buy position, we will do it like that. But if the position is a sell, we could flip it over. So we're doing the open price minus the take profit and stop loss plus that. All right, cool. So now we can update this, but remember to take this off. So we're not recreating the variables, we're only updating them. So let's compile this and let's try it again. All right, awesome. So now we have our trade where we have our take profits and our stop loss. So let's try it for a sell order. Compile. All right, great. That works as well. So let's move on to the next step. So before we do that, we can also just create a variable as well and call this the enum order type and call it starting position. So this one we could set it to other type of buy. So let's put a comment of starting position. So now we could give it to this guy instead and compile. So now we have a drop down of our positions. So we could do a buy and a sell on demand, based off of what we want to do. So let's just quickly try that. So do a sell again. And yeah, we do sell. All right, so let's go to the next step. So based off our logic, we have our starting lot size, take profit points, stop loss points, and a multiplier. So we need to keep track of when we win or lose, so we can know when to use our multiplier to increase the lot size. So let's do that. So what I can do here is to add some global variables called stop loss hit, loss to false, take profit hit, equals to false as well. So we can keep track of when we take profit or hit a stop loss. All right. So the next thing we need to do is to track our when our take profit hit or our stop loss hits. I'm going to paste a bit of code here. So this code, what it does is to whenever a trade hits your stop loss or your take profit, this function is going to get called, which is on trade transaction. So we need to check, if the trans type is trade transaction deal add, we then need to get the history of that position that just happened. So we use this method to do that. Then we need to, if we're able to select that deal, we can then, get the deal info. So if the deal reason is a negative, meaning we weren't able to get the reason for why, the position got closed for anything, we'll return nothing. But then if we're able to get the reason, and the reason is because we hit a take profit or hit a stop loss, we want to get the last close position. So this last close position, we're going to create this variable as a position info as well. Last close position. And then we're going to create a new function, which is to get the history of that position. So we'll create that. But if the reason is a stop loss, we're going to set our variable stop loss hit to true. If it's a take profit hit to true. So let's go ahead to create this position, this method now. All right, so we go to our orders, and I can paste this as well. So let's format this. So basically, this is going to take in the ticket number and do a history deal select on that ticket, and then just prefill our position structure with all the necessary information that we need. And yeah, pretty much that's it. So let's compile. So we do get some errors. Deal info is undeclared. So for deal info to work, we need to import this class called C deal info. And all right, so that works now. All right, cool. So let's test out these new variables we just added. So we could put if take profit hit, we want to print take profit hit, and we could copy this over. Stop loss hit. All right, so let's format this and compile. Okay, so stopped. So let's start this. Okay, so we hit TP, and yeah, we just get a lot of take profit hit. So that's cool. So what do we need to do next? So if we lose, we need to multiply our lot size. So let's do that. So what we could do is to create a new variable. You know what? Let's rename this to lot size input and create this as lot size input. All right. So we'll use that instead. So if stop loss gets hit, we want to do a lot size equals to lot size multiplied by the multiplier. I could use the shorthand method multiplier and stop loss hit equals to false so that we reset it and we don't need to multiply it again. Then if take profit hits, we need to set this back to our lot size inputs and take profit equals to false. So that allows us to start it all over again. All right, so that's clear. All right, so let's test it out. So we took a take profit on the first trade and we lost the second. So we're supposed to double or rather triple our position, but it didn't. So this sometimes can happen if the code maybe runs a bit too fast and it isn't able to read the variables well enough. So let's stop this. What we could do is to add an additional variable called, let's say, can trade. Put this to true. So if we don't have any positions open and we can't trade, we then open a new position. So if it exists, then can trade is false, meaning we've done what we needed to do over there. So if we hit take profit or stop loss, then we could do can trade equals to true. So allow it to open another trade when all the variables are updated properly. All right. I think another thing we could do is to push this to the top, or rather, maybe we could just put in this. Yeah. And then we could change this to one liner. All right, so let's take this off. Awesome. Okay. So let's start it now and see what happens. All right, so the first trade hits, then we lost the second. Okay, so now we have a 0.03 lot size, so we're able to triple up successfully. So I think we lost this, so 0.09. Hopefully we win. All right, so we won that and we were able to reset our, our lot size back to normal. So that's pretty much how it works. We lose, if we win the first one, lose the second one, we triple up, lose the next one, we triple up again until we win. So let's allow this play and see, what happens at the end of the day with our profit of 10K. So we can look at the graph. All right, keeps going. All right, so we're able to make a net profit of about $158. That's not bad. We had the 60% win, profits trades, and 40% loss trades. So yeah, overall, it works. It does what it's supposed to do. All right, so another thing we could do is so let's say we want to flip the orders. So if like we enter a buy trade and it hits the stop loss, we want to enter a sell trade. So it means the market is going down, or kind of means the market is going down. So basically we should flip our order or our position and follow the markets. So to do that, let's change this to an input, and we can now create a different variable because we can't alter input variables. So in our model type, starting position, let's give it starting position inputs. All right, so another thing we could do is to also add a bool called maintain starting position, which should be false. So basically, if we want to, let's say we know that the market is a bullish market, we just want to keep buying, or a bearish market, we just want to keep selling. We could do that as well. So yeah, so here, if stop loss hits, and if we are not maintaining starting position, we can start the position equals to last close position dot type. So this last close position is going to, so when when you enter a buy position, that's you're going to be your in. Then when it takes your profit or takes stop loss, your out is going to be a sell position. So that last close position is going to always be the opposite of what it was with, or what your entry position was. So let's test this out. We could do the same lot size. So maintain start position is false. So we're expecting to, as we enter a buy, if we lose, we change to a sell, that kind of stuff. But if we keep winning, we'll keep maintaining that same position. Um, so yeah. So we're in the first sell, or rather we're not in the first sell. All right, so let's test that out. So we're in the first sell, yeah. So we hit TP goods, then we'll keep selling again. We hit our stop loss, so we switched it to a buy, and vice versa. So that one we want it, so we're going to maintain a buy. And if we lose, yeah, if we lose, we switch it to a sell. So that's just the way it works, and we keep selling. So if we say let's maintain our starting position, so this means we're always just going to be selling. All right, so first is a sell TP, next is a sell hits stop loss, we're selling again, and so on and so forth. So yeah, let's start with a back test. Let's do a lot size of 0.1, and let's tick off our visual mode so it's a bit faster. And let's start. bit of drawdown here. All right, awesome. So here we made a total net profit of about $6,000 and we won 47% of our trades. So yeah, not too bad. So some other ways you could minimize the risks for this is to, you could add like a drawdown filter. So if you met like a daily drawdown of 3%, you could stop trading for that day to protect your capital. Then also you could add like a time filter. So if you want to just trade between a particular session, you could also add that as well. So that will help mitigate some of the risks involved. But yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, guys. So that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a thumbs up. Remember to hit that subscribe button. Let's keep the community growing. Also, my broker is going to be in the description, so please check them out. If you have any questions, leave a comment and I'll get right to it. See you all later. Peace.